All right, welcome to this video on the volume formulas and multiplying with decimals. We started on page 122 and briefly talked about volume. We had heard from our classmates about how to find the volume. But keep in mind, volume is three-dimensional. It's length times width times height. And area is just two-dimensional. It's length times width. So keep in mind, these are two separate things. All right. This volume formula is compared to the formula for finding the area of a base, because you could write volume equals length times width times height, or you could write volume equals base, capital B, times H. All right. Where this just represents the area of the base. So sometimes they're going to give you the area of a base, and you just need to multiply that by the height, or you might have to do everything, length times width times height. So we applied that to this rectangular prism, and we found that the length times the width would be how we found the area of our base. So we need to do 32.64 times 7.3. And then later we'll come back and we'll multiply it by the height. All right, so if we go to the next page, they talk about how they used estimation to see if we're close. They got it should be around 210. We'll see. They did 32.64 times 7.3, like we were talking. And I mentioned this little phrase over to the side about forgetting, but don't forget. So forget about the decimals. All right. It's the first step. Forget about the decimals, but make sure you don't forget at the very end. So, meaning multiply these two numbers as if the decimals weren't there, and then you write down your answer, and then you bring in the decimal. So don't forget at the end. So what do I mean? Well, we have two decimal places here, right, because this number had two decimal places, and this had one decimal place. So a total of 3 places. So our final answer of 238272, we move the decimal over 2 places, and we put it right here. All right, and is this close to our 210 estimate? Yeah, it's close. Usually when we estimate with decimals, we're trying to see if we are 100 off, 1,000 off, like really way off. All right, if we're just a few off, like a few tens, that's not too big of a deal. All right, we're looking mostly for place value there. All right, then we are not done, because that is just the area of the base of this shape that we had on the previous page. So now we need to multiply by 10.1. And the way we're going to do that is forget but don't forget. So I'm just going to multiply these two numbers, and remember to bring down a 0 for the place values, because at this point you're multiplying by tens and hundreds. So I put the 2 zeros here, and then I add it together, and I got this red number 24065472, and then I go back up here to count my decimal places. I have 3 here, and I have 1 here for a total of 4 places. And move it over 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so the decimal place should be right there. And I got a little bit high because my smart board was acting up, but you know that it's supposed to be down here. It's not a multiplication sign. All right, and I realized we really didn't talk about our answer, our label. See, this should be square meters here because it's an area, but this should be cubic meters. All right, I'm going to see if I can't even draw that in. So I'm going to put meters to the 3rd power. I'm writing with the mouse, and it does not look very good. That's supposed to be an exponent. Hopefully that's good enough. All right, we're going to switch to the next page. All right, I know we didn't talk about this in class, but just in case you're confused still, let's look at this. All right, so let's say we multiply the base, okay, this is our base, and we're told the height is this. In this situation, we know that the answer, when we forget about the decimals, is 44488. Okay? Now we need to not forget. So forget, but don't forget. This is what we get when we forget, but we want to not forget. So we move over 1 decimal place here, 2 decimal places here. So we need a total of 3 decimal places. So we move over 1, 2, 3. So our decimal should go right there. So our answer is 44.488 cubic feet. I'll do one more. 7.9 square centimeters, that's our area of our base, and then our height is 0.6 centimeters. So it's 474, but that's without our decimal places. There's one here, there's one here, so a grand total of 2 decimal places. I suppose I should probably show that we're adding our decimal places. All right, so I need to move over 1, 2. So I put that right there. So it's actually 4.74 cubic centimeters, which makes sense because this is about 8 and this is about a half. So half of 8 is about close to 4. All right. So again, forgive but don't forget. Okay, and I think this next page was basically the same thing. All right. So let's go to our assignment. You were supposed to find the number of faces, edges, and vertices of this shape. Keep in mind there are faces, vertices, edges. By the way, vertices is plural for vertex. You're not going to find the word vertices in your book. Okay, vertex is singular, vertices is plural. All right, so keep in mind there's some on the back of this shape. All right, hold up a box, hold up a book, find another rectangular prism to help you figure these out. You're going to have an answer here, here, and here. So 3 answers on A. Then B, you're going to estimate these numbers and then multiply them to get about what the volume is supposed to be. Don't forget your label. All right, and then finally on C, calculate the volume by actually multiplying these exact numbers. Okay, so a little decimal practice. And don't forget your label. Since you're watching the video, I'll remind you, it's centimeters to the 3rd power. Okay, so good for you. Good on you for watching the video. There you go. All right, same thing here. We want to find the area. They don't give us a picture, but we know that length times width times height. When we multiply it together, we get our answer. Length times width times height, and don't forget your label. All right, thanks for watching. I hope this helps. Bye. Bye.